Hi everyone, this is Gargi,
Hey, I'm Jim.
and today we will talk to you about one of the biggest indicators that you might be doing well in your life, which is when you develop imposter syndrome. I'm sure both of us and
Oh
some
my
of you
gosh.
watching have been dealing with, but I like to joke with my dissertation students when they start talking about doubts they have about their dissertations. I always tell them that the more you will learn, the more you will feel like an imposter, which is so counterintuitive. So we just wanted to take some time to talk about what it means and how we've experienced it and any strategies we have used to deal with it. We can feel some confidence and pride in our achievements. How would you define imposter syndrome?
I really define it more as the experiences that I've had where I've felt it, and then thinking about those. Honestly, it's sort of this perception that I'm going to get found out because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing here. Everybody else knows more than me, that kind of thing. One of the distinct memories that I've had about this is, and a way that I've found to overcome it, is that frequently here at the university we have fancy folk meetings.
Yes.
By that I mean, senior administrative types, maybe guests from somewhere else, and people are all dressed up and all that sort of thing. And they'll have these receptions, and we have to go to them or we get to go to them. They do have free food.
Yeah.
Free food is something that all academics, it
never goes away.
It's a fringe benefit.
Yeah.
So we go to these things, right? You can walk into these rooms and just get the vibe. I've had, speaking for myself, just the vibe like, I don't belong here. Like, these people would not accept me if they knew like the way that I am and the way the things that I do. And one way that I've found that always works to overcome that is, one, to arrive somewhat early before the place is full.
Huh, that's good.
And then let the crowd grow up around you. That helps me. So I'm not just walking into a thing like, I don't know anybody here. And then what that allows me to do is to identify people that I do know in some way, and then go up to them and ask them what they're doing.
Yeah.
How their day's going. What have they been up to since the last time I saw them? Maybe in a crowd of 100 people, I might know 7 or 8 or 10 or 15 maybe, and I can go around and kind of talk to some of those people, and then all of a sudden that imposter syndrome is gone.
Yeah.
How about you?
Similar to you, the imposter syndrome feels like I'm going to be caught in my incompetence. Funnily enough, before I got my doctorate, I think I had less imposter syndrome, and I thought getting a PhD would take care of it. No, it made it worse. Similar to what you were saying, being in an academic space where there's so many brilliant people, they all have like really niche expertise in topics that I might not even have heard of. It can be easy to feel like maybe I don't belong, maybe I'm not smart enough, maybe one day everybody will realize that I'm actually kind of dumb and fire me. That's kind of how it presents for me. But what has helped is, and I want to refer back to one of our videos, which is how should leaders ask for help. So one way I do it is I get therapy, and my therapist recommended, okay, the way you talk to yourself, imagine talking to your colleague or a friend who has equivalent accomplishments. Would you tell them you don't belong here, you're incompetent, you shouldn't be here? Probably not. So she says, just imagine when you're telling yourself that you're an imposter, that you're talking to a close friend or a colleague in the same field. And that exercise has helped a lot. Another thing that helps my imposter syndrome is to collaborate with people. When, like, for example, Jim and I work on these videos, and he has amazing video recording, editing, content skills. But working with him, I'm able to learn those skills, feel confident, produce work that is very collaborative. So it's easier to feel pride and less of an imposter when you work with people that you look up to and think do really good work. And if you're able to do that work with them, you must not be an imposter. So those kind of activities help as well.
Yeah, and I was just thinking when you were speaking about that one of the things that I have found for certain spans of my life, it's like, well, you don't ask. You don't ask the question, like, I'm in this conversation and I don't understand what's going on. And I would never ask. So you just kind of like nod along and be like, yeah, oh, sure. Yeah. Then I started to ask. And it's amazing how disarming that is to people, where you go like, I really don't know anything about that. Can you explain it to me?
For sure.
And they always love to do it, except the occasional person who's like, well, of course you don't know. There's always somebody.
How do you
but
not
it's like
know what
1 out of 100.
cadasticity is?
Yeah, there's like 1 in 100. It's like, okay, you're just a jerk. I'm over it. But how many people I've had where I've said, you know what? Everything you're saying right now I don't know any of that. So like, how would you break that down for me so that I could get access to it? My experience is the vast majority of the time, they're absolutely willing to do that. And then that dissipates it, just like poof, because they're like, oh, I would love to explain this.
For sure. I think that speaks to how imposter syndrome maybe is somewhat related to humility. And sometimes it just helps to just realize that, yes, you're not going to know everything, and others are going to know stuff that you don't, and you might know stuff that others don't, and we are all just trying our best. Somehow that makes the world work. So just giving into that acknowledgement that you'll never know everything, just like others, and the best we can do is try our best and hope it all works together. So just giving into that acknowledgement has been helpful, feeling like an imposter. If
you've had experiences like this, I think it always helps. For speaking to one of my former students who now we've written a book together and stuff. And as a part of writing a book, you get to know each other pretty well. And I was talking about how I have imposter syndrome. And she was like, no way. And I'm like, absolutely. That act of sharing the fact that, hey, this is a real thing and people feel it, makes it safe for other people to do that. Hey, in that vein, feel free to share those in the comments, whatever you're facing in that way. Students, if you see this and you come to one of our learning institutes, we'd be happy to talk about imposter syndrome. It's actually kind of comedic, so please share it in person and in the comments to this video. Absolutely. So thank you all, and we'll see you again on the next one. Thank you.